the American Dream, and I'm your host, Gina Knight. And today we have a co-host, Chevy McCarthy, and he's going to interview Mr. Eric Jackson of Apex and Jackson Kayak. And also, we're going to go out to Center Hill Lake, where they're hosting the World Kayak Fishing Championship. So come on, let's take a look.
Hey Eric, so I noticed you've got this gorgeous log home. How long have you lived here, and what made you decide to move to this area in Tennessee?
We lived in Washington, D.C. area, and we moved into an RV of Halloween in '97, and we just started traveling around all over the West Coast, California, Canada, and we kept coming back to Rock Island. There's really good whitewater here. It's like it used to be very unknown. Nobody knew about it, but I discovered it. One of the best freestyle kayaking training spots in the world is right there. In fact, the majority of medals from World Championships have been won by people training here at Rock Island. We've always wanted a log home, and there was a heritage log home outside of Knoxville, and we stopped in it several times, like, this is the one we want, and that's what we got here. And before we built the log home, I started my kayak company, Jackson Kayak, 2004.
What made you decide that you wanted to make kayaks? Was there not like a good one out there when you started?
I'd been working, I was sponsored by kayak companies for all the big companies, making boats that I would paddle, and they would sponsor me because I was a top paddler. But it got to the point where I had all these ideas on what I wanted to do I was a world champion, and I knew what I wanted in boats, and I couldn't get them to do what I wanted to do. And I was like, one of the things I wanted to make a kids kayak, and the kayak company I was sponsored by and I was working for designing boats wouldn't let me make a kids boat. But my son Dane really wanted to kayak, and he was like 40 pounds, so there's no boats his size. Right. First kayak I made at Jackson Kayak was a little boat for my son Dane, and it was really popular. Anyway, that's the main reason, is I want to make sure that my kids had boats.
That's very cool. Today we're at Center Hill Lake in Middle Tennessee. This is a popular lake for recreational boating and kayaking and fishing. This is an 18,000 acre lake with over 400 miles of shoreline, and it has some depths of up to 190 feet. This lake hosts 3 state parks: Edgar Evans, Burgess Falls, and Rock Island.
A lot of people wonder whether I'm a fisherman or a whitewater kayaker. I do both. I made the U.S. team this year, competing in the World Championships for freestyle kayaking.
And your son, he also whitewaters rapids kayak too.
Yeah, my son Dane is now the current world champion now, awesome. And my daughter Emily has won several world championships also. And she's nice. All of us, and my son-in-law Nick, that Emily's married to, we're all competing in the World Championships this year, so everybody's on their national team.
So tell us a little bit about your Olympic history and the sport of kayaking.
I first started training full-time in '84, and then in '89 I made the U.S. team for the first time, competed in the World Championships and World Cups, and then '92 went to the Olympics, and this is for slalom kayaking. Yeah. And I really enjoyed slalom, but it wasn't as fun for me as extreme racing and freestyle. So I focused on extreme racing and freestyle after that. I won my first World Championships in '93, and then I won again in 2001, 2005, 2007, so I ended up winning 4 World Championships.
Awesome. So how does kayak fishing different than like big bass tournaments? How do they score it and stuff like that?
In a bass boat, you obviously put your fish in a live well, and you're coming back and you actually weigh the fish. With kayak fishing, you have a measuring board, and you lay the fish on a board and you take a photo, and then you release them right away. And so you're doing it by inches. Now, at the World Championships here, we're doing it by centimeters. This tournament is the World Championships, and it's 3 days in a row. It's a little bit different, so you don't add up all your fish. It's on day 1, what your fish were, and then you're placing, and you get points based on your placing, and then it starts over day 2 and day 3.
Thank you so much for coming out and enjoying this episode, learning all about kayak fishing in the beautiful Center Hill Lake. I want to thank my co-host Chevy McCarthy, he did a fantastic job. And I really want to thank Eric Jackson for hosting us here at his home and then bringing us out to this tournament to watch these people from all over the world come out here and fish in kayaks. The equipment and everything is fantastic. Hope to see you guys next time. This is the American Dream. I'm your host, Gina Knight.